Buongiorno tutti quanti e benvenuti a lezione 27 di Italian for Beginners. Questa lezione si tratta di un argomento molto importante, il presente dei verbi della seconda e della terza coniugazione. Questi verbi si terminano in ere e ire, rispettivamente. Ci sono infatti due coniugazioni per verbi regolari in ire. Bisogna imparare a memoria quale usare per ciascun verbo. Benché la seconda sia più comune, cominciamo con la prima perché è molto simile a quella dei verbi in ere. Prima di cominciare con la grammatica, leggiamo il piccolo brano a pagina 86 sotto il titolo A, presente dei verbi in ere e ire. Siamo una famiglia molto sportiva. Mio padre corre ogni giorno e poi va in ufficio. Mia madre prende lezioni di tennis in estate e preferisce nuotare in piscina in inverno. Mia sorella va in palestra e fa sollevamento pesi. Persino mia nonna fa aerobica. So here are the forms of verbs that we're interested in this little passage. So let's kind of jump into it now. Let's talk about the second conjugation first. That's verbs that end in ere. So just like with verbs that end in are, we start conjugating any other verb by dropping the ending and starting with the stem. So in this case, we're looking at the verb scrivere, to write. The stem of scrivere is what's left after you drop the ere ending, so that's scriv. Now you can see that the endings that get attached are the ones in red here on the chart. So we have io scrivo, tu scrivi, lei, lui o lei formale scrive, noi scriviamo, voi scrivete, and loro scrivono. So a couple things about verbs in ere. Most infinitives in ere are stressed on the verb stem and not on the ending. This is different from are verbs that are all stressed on the are. In ere verbs, you've got prendere, chiedere, piovere. But you do have a couple that are stressed on the ending as well, such as avere, which we've seen before, vedere, cadere. There are just a handful that are stressed on the ending. Most ere verbs are unfortunately irregular in at least one tense. Usually that's not the present tense, but there is one that's irregular in the present tense, which is bere, to drink. Bere comes from the Latin word bevere, and so it still retains the Latin stem. So it uses the stem bev, which results in bevo, tu bevi, lui, lei o lei formale beve, beviamo, voi bevete, loro bevono. Do notice again that just like verbs in are, in the third person plural form, in the loro form, that ono ending is unstressed. So it's bevono, not bevono. And that's the same for all third person plural verbs in the present and in a number of other tenses, that ending is unstressed. So the same way as it was scrivono in the chart, it's bevono, and it's true for all present tense verbs. Here are a few examples of verbs in ere. chiudere, to close. Perché non chiudi la porta? Fa freddo. Correre. Mio padre corre ogni mattina. Dipingere, to paint. Lisa dipinge tutti i giorni. È molto brava. Leggere, to read. Leggiamo un nuovo libro ogni settimana. Mettere, to put. Gianni mette gli occhiali sul tavolo. Perdere, to lose. Perdo sempre le mie chiavi. Piovere, to rain. In inverno piove quasi tutti i giorni. Prendere, to take. Da quanto tempo prendi lezioni di fotografia? Ricevere. Ricevo una lettera da mia mamma ogni settimana. Rispondere. Perché rispondete sempre in inglese? And vedere, to see. Luca e Andrea vanno al cinema. Vedono il nuovo film di Spielberg. So let's talk about verbs in ire now. I want to start with the info about them before we jump into the conjugation. Verbs in ire, like verbs in are, are stressed on the stem, are not on the stem. It says on the stem, but they're actually stressed on the ending. Verbs in ire are stressed on the ending. So it's aprire, finire, just like verbs in are. These verbs are conjugated with one of two patterns. Unfortunately, like so many things, you don't get to choose. You just have to remember which of the conjugations goes with which verb. The first pattern is really similar to the second conjugation, the one that we just discussed. So I want to go over it first. So this is the first pattern that ire verbs can follow, and the example is aprire with the stem apr. We have io apro, tu apri, lei, lui o lei formale apre, noi apriamo, voi aprite. That's the one that's different from the ere verbs. Voi aprite. And then loro aprono. Again, this is aprono, not aprono. Aprono. So there are a number of verbs that are conjugated like aprire. This list is pretty long, but oddly enough, this is not the most common conjugation. So there are actually more ire verbs that belong to the second group, even though in this particular chapter there are more examples of these. So here are the examples. Dormire, to sleep. Dormi sempre a lungo il weekend. Offrire. Gina offre un caffè a Daniele. Partire, to leave. Partiamo per l'Italia domani. Seguire, to follow. Luisa segue un buon corso di matematica. Sentire, to hear. Non sentite il cane che abbaia? Servire, to serve. Un ristorante elegante non serve hamburger. So here's the second pattern. And the way that this one works is that it takes the same endings as the first pattern, but in most of the forms it inserts this isk in between the stem and the ending. So that's the case in all of the forms except for the noi and voi. So it's io finisco, tu finisci, lei, lui o lei finisce, and then loro finiscono. And again, it's finiscono, not finiscono. Finiscono. I'm really beating this word stress thing to death because it's one of the things that English speakers get wrong the most. So, yeah, and then in the noi and voi forms, we have finiamo and finite, just the same as the other conjugation. In the vocab list in the book, they'll have a little isc in parentheses next to the verb if it's conjugated with isc. And you can also check any verb conjugation reference that you have to find that information out as well. It's important to learn conjugations when you learn the verb, just the same way as it's important to learn the gender when you learn the noun, because you won't be able to use it if you don't know. So here are a few verbs like finire, and like I said, these are more common than the other pattern without the isc. So maybe just not in the very beginning. But a couple other verbs like finire are capire, to understand. Angela non capisce la lezione. Preferire, to prefer. Preferisco il caffè nero. Or pulire, to clean. Gabriella e Arianna puliscono sempre la casa la domenica. So there are just a couple grammatical notes that I wanted to discuss here. So sometimes you'll find yourself needing to use a conjugated verb and an infinitive next to each other. The most common case of this is in verbs like to want, where we say things like, I want to go. And want is conjugated, and then to go is the infinitive. I want to go to Italy. We'll discuss those particular verbs in the next section, but still, it's important to be aware that there are a couple verbs that are often followed by infinitives, and one of those is preferire. So, for example, we have preferisco viaggiare in estate. I prefer to travel in summer. Now, sometimes there's going to be a preposition between the conjugated verb and the infinitive, and whether there is one and which it will be depends on the conjugated verb. So, like we said before, for example, cominciare goes with a. Comincio a studiare a mezzogiorno. Comincio a studiare. I start to study. And then the second example here is also with andare, which also takes a preposition. Vado a studiare in biblioteca. I'm going to the library to study. So I wanted to touch again on the present continuous tense, which again will be discussed in greater detail in, I think it's capitolo 14 or 15. And so the present continuous tense consists of two elements, a form of stare and a gerund. So the form of stare, we've seen like, cosa stai facendo was the example that was given in the previous chapter. And a gerund in English is a word that ends in ing. So, cosa stai facendo is a great example. What are you doing? The facendo is doing. So, for verbs in are, the gerund ending is ando. And for verbs in ere and ire, it is endo. So, if you wanted to say, instead of what are you doing, what are you reading, you could say, cosa stai leggendo? And the answer might be sto pulendo la casa. I'm cleaning the house. And just remember again that the present continuous tense in Italian refers only to something that's happening in this exact moment. So it's not like in English where we would use it to say, oh, I'm going to school this semester, or that kind of thing. That would just be the simple present tense in Italian. So that's about it for this lesson. The homework is the esercizi on pages 88 and 89. The exercise key will be posted in the video description so you can check your answers. And then the next lesson will be the next section, which discusses some very important things. We're going to be covering a couple of the few irregular ire verbs, and we're also going to be talking about modal verbs, to have to want, and to be able to. So those are some pretty important concepts to be able to express. So if you want to make sure that you don't miss the video, please subscribe to my channel. This is the textbook that we're using. There's, again, more information about it in the video description. If you don't have it already, I encourage you to buy it. If you plan to proceed with this course, you'll definitely get a lot more out of it if you get the textbook. So yeah, that's about it. Like I said, if you want to catch the next video, subscribe to my channel. You can ask questions in the comments. You can also leave corrections if you're a native Italian speaker. Yeah, and I will see you in the next video.